Let's start with today's session. Welcome to Corporate Gita, regular Friday classes. We'll continue from where we are, that we are on the third chapter. Before that, there are prayers on my screen, so you can read with me. Om Agyana Dimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha श्री रूपम सागर जातम सहगण रघुनाथान्वितम तम सजीवम साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत तप्त कांचन गौरंग राधे वृंदावने श्री विश्वभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे। So welcome to Corporate Gita. We are on the third chapter. So last time we read yeah last time we read something which is very conclusive of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, what exactly Lord Krishna wanted Arjuna to do. So he said, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims to proprietorship and free from lethargy, fright. So this is like a concluding, Prabhupada puts it nicely, purpose of Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is that ultimately Arjuna should fight. And with what consciousness he should do his duty. First is all the work should be on to Krishna, for sake of Krishna, for sake of Vishnu, with full knowledge of me. So these two things, right? For work for me and full knowledge of me, this Krishna has not explained so much yet. From chapter number 4 and some part in 7, he's going to explain much more detail. But most of the time, Krishna's was focused on this thing without desire for profit. That don't only think for profit, just do for the sake of your duty, and don't claim for proprietorship. This is mine. I mean, things are here in this world for temporarily we will own such thing, and then we have to pass on, and we as souls will move on to the next life, right? So don't be so much proprietorship, this is mine and this will eternally be mine. Don't think like that. Free from lethargy means laziness. Shall I do, not do your duty. Whether you succeed or fail is another thing. But when it comes to do your duty, don't be lazy in that. So we read this. And then Krishna says, those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and they follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. So they will have some benefit who follow Krishna's instruction. What the benefit will be there? They will be free from bondage of fruitive actions. Bondage of fruitive actions means, what is the bondage? Bondage means there is karma and then we get some reaction to it. So when we follow Krishna's activity, we don't get reaction. And what is the problem with reaction? Reaction will force us to take new birth. Okay. Yeah. Or let's go here. Reactions will make us change and take new bodies. We won't get liberation. Why? Because we will have that desire. Okay, and therefore Krishna says, don't be lazy, fight, do your duty. Okay, and don't claim for proprietorship. Proprietorship means this is mine is a very strong desire, right? If something is yours, you don't want to part that easily, right? So that claim of proprietorship can keep us bonded in this world. Okay, so when we give up this claim, then we don't become bonded. Okay, now we're on the 32nd verse. Yeta अभ्यासूयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतिम सर्वज्ञान विमूढ़ां स्थान विद्धि नष्टान अचेतसः. But those who, out of envy, disregard this teaching and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. So those who don't follow out of envy, envy means a desire, resentful,
Jealousy.
yeah, kind of jealousy, and even envy is where you want to do bad things to others also. In jealousy, you may not, you just may have a jealous feeling, but envious is something even you want to do something bad. There's another word also called as malice. Malice is envy, but it is envy to do something really bad for others. So when envy becomes stronger and stronger, right, then it turns into malice. It becomes poisonous. So out of envy, jealousness, and I don't want to follow this teaching, what happens to them? Perfection. Perfection means to spiritual perfection. Okay. They may not get spiritual perfection. Even materially, also, they won't be happy. Hmm? And they won't have the knowledge. They'll be befooled. And their endeavors will be ruined. Very interestingly, Krishna puts this, if you don't follow, this thing will happen. The flaw is not being Krishna consciousness is clearly stated here. As there is no punishment for disobedience to the order of the supreme executive head, so there is certainly, oh sorry, as there is punishment for disobedience, so there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the supreme personality of Godhead. So just like if you don't follow the rules and regulations the government has set, um, then there will be punishment, right? Similarly, if you don't follow Krishna's instruction, there will be some punishment. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self and of the supreme Brahman, Paramatma, and the personality Godhead due to vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection of life for him. Okay, so disobedient person disobeying the orders of the Supreme Lord, the instruction of the Supreme Lord, the guidance of the Supreme Lord, then what can you expect? One may go to a doctor and the doctor says, don't eat this, don't eat that, take these medicines. But the patient comes out and says, I'm not going to follow the doctor. He's saying too much. I cannot control him. So what can be done, right? Disobedient. So do you think the patient will cure himself all by himself? No, right?
No, he'll fall more
Yeah.
sick.
So we have to be obedient. This is a very safe and logical and sensical path, right? To be obedient. We have to be obedient to the laws on the of the country. We have to be obedient to so many people. So why not be obedient to the Supreme Lord also? And Krishna, he says, I'm your friend also. Interestingly, we are obedient to people who are not really our friend, right? Then to be obedient to a friend is even better, right? So he will always think good about us. Okay, 33. Sadrisham chetasa swasa swasah prakriti jnanvan api prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from three modes. What can repression accomplish? This is a very interesting point. Arjuna said he didn't want to fight this war because it is very costly. Instead, he feels he should do begging, right? Um, but do you think it is possible for him to beg?
No, no.
Why?
He he's a warrior from from inside. How can he beg? I don't think so. He'll
Yeah,
be
true. See, we are having our own nature. Nature means psychophysical nature. Okay. So we are always pushed by our psychophysical nature. Like some people are reserved, some people are introvert, some people are extrovert, right? Some people are daring, dashing. Some people are, something else. So that nature is pushing us. And if we try to repress it, push it down, it won't work. You're getting? It won't work.
I have a doubt here.
Huh.
Yep. So I was reading something related to this, that how how an introvert, like who has spent all his lifetime not being social, not
Speak little
interacting
louder,
with people.
louder, louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was reading an article about introvert people, like those who weren't able to talk to people, like especially people of opposite gender throughout their life, and
Hmm.
they have been focused. They've never been that outgoing, so they can change. That these are all behavioral traits, so we can definitely change this. Do you think, like as you said, if we try to repress this nature, it will not work, it will work against us? But like I see, like the two
Okay, okay,
points
okay. I
contradicting.
got
Do
it.
you
I
think?
got it. See, I use the word psychophysical nature. Okay. So psychophysical nature is a very big term. I don't have any reference for it, but let's let's go for some definition, and you'll see that it means something even more deeper. It is sharing mental and physical qualities. Okay, psychophysical color. I mean, mental and physical. So it contains both mentally and physically also. So I said about reserved. See, reserved people, they are psychophysical, right? So maybe reserved is psycho, but when it comes to physical, they are very dashing. Like sometimes army people, some of them are very reserved. They are very shy, but physically they are very strong, right? And they can go ahead and kill the enemy, right? Aggressively. You have heard about these stories. They are very reserved, but on a battlefield, something happens, they'll
Yes,
go ahead.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So it is a combination of two things, psychophysical. Okay. It is not just one quality. It's a combination of multiple things, is what is this psychophysical thing.
So the psycho quality, do you think that can be changed?
Um,
That an introvert can become an extrovert, or
okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. So here is the thing. We are, see, somebody introvert, right? Is not always introvert in everything. There may be certain scenarios where an introvert may act like extrovert. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is psychophysical nature. A person may be introvert in something, extrovert in something. Maybe physically active in something, physically not active in something. You're getting?
Yes, yeah. But don't you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that is
I'll give you
only?
one example. I'll give you one example. We'll talk about animals. We can understand from animals. Um, let's do just put animals. Animals. So many animals are there. Okay. Okay. Now, if you say which animals do you think are reserved, introvert in them, and which extrovert? What do you think?
I feel the
Hmm.
herbivorous animals are more of an introvert. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's take example elephant. So does elephant
Yeah,
ever become aggressive?
yeah, yeah. It does. Yes,
Yeah. Yes. So here is
a
the
lot.
thing. Psychophysical nature means they are mostly introvert, or let's say not introvert. Let's say they are mostly reserved, but in some situation they can become aggressive. Whereas tiger are mostly aggressive, but in some situation they can be reserved. Now you get? So this is what is
Yes,
called as
yes.
psychophysical nature. So we cannot really put people into one bucket. We can put them in various capacities of qualities. Okay. So it is
Mhm.
not like if they are extrovert, meaning they will not be introvert. No, they may be 60% extrovert and 30% introvert, like that. So every psychophysical nature has all the qualities in various degrees, in various quantities. It's a permutation, combination kind of situation. Okay. So this is what
Do,
is psychophysical nature.
do you think that our age and maturity especially plays a role in this? Because we hear it a lot of
Exactly.
times that
When we say psychophysical, right, it changes with the body. The physical level of the body in old age is not possible, but the psychology will be there, na? Like old people, they
hmm
when they see young people running, they feel psychologically, yes, I want to run. In my young youth, I wanted to run, but physically, is it possible for
no,
them?
no.
No. So with time, things can vary, things can change, and like you said, they be trained. Yes, they can be trained, but by training, don't think that you have changed the inherent nature. Some
Okay,
changes you did, not every change. Like elephant, you cannot make it fly. Physically, it is not possible only to change that. Can a
true,
lion
true.
become herbivorous? Physically, it is
No,
not possible.
no.
Physically, it is not possible. But sometimes lions are fed rice. Like dogs are there, they eat rice also, or roti or chapati. But do you think so? Yeah, very good point you said. So there is this, the vegetarians, right? Once, I was seeing one video, and then these vegetarians. What they did is they trained the dog also vegetarian food. And what happened is in one of the shows they brought their dog, and the dog smelled something non-vegetarian there, and it went and ate it. And then this vegetarian owner was upset. He said, I trained you, in vegetarian. And no, it is their psychophysical nature. Okay. So this is what happens. If you
Yes,
try to
yes,
repress it, it's not going to help. You have to channel it. Now, does it make sense?
yes, yes. Now it is.
Yeah. So, see, Arjuna was a fighter, and a fighter will never beg. He'll be aggressive everywhere. So, therefore, Krishna was saying, no, you cannot do that. You will give up. You will give up. And we see that, right? We see that. Children are very active, right? But can you make them sit in one place for some time? And once that time is over, again they will start running here and there.
Yes, yes.
So that is the psychophysical nature. Can you make old people sit in one place? Yes. Can you make them active for some time only?
Yeah, for some time.
Yeah. So this is what is a combination of psychophysical nature which changes over the period of time. And there are some inherent things that are there. Okay. So, what can be said is, even if whatever our psychophysical nature is, right? If we are trained into something, then we can acquire that skills. Okay, we can acquire that skills, but don't think that we will, become that person. Like, elephant can never fly, but by due to some arrangement, some wings can be provided and all that. It may fly also, but it won't be like the flying of the birds. Some yeah, right. So the thing is, don't think that we can completely change a person. Okay, his inherent qualities will be there. You can add to it, and you can enhance certain things. And it is a varied, a big list of psychophysical natures. It is not just one or two. It may go into thousands. So you can keep varying it. You can keep enhancing it, like that. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So for Arjuna to do something, like elephant to fly, this is what Arjuna was trying to do. Completely against his nature. Completely against his nature. One or two times is fine, but a whole thing, a whole life is not is not proper. Like like one story came into my mind. There was a businessman, and this businessman was so much engaged in business, that throughout his life he put whole thing in business, his whole energy, thought, everything. And when he became old, he was not thinking about spirituality at all. So his children were somehow spiritual, and they were doing business, and they were spiritual also. So they said, "Now, father, you have become old, and you're zero in spirituality. What to do?" Somehow they convinced their father, you have to become spiritual. You have become old now. At least death will come. So then they arranged a brahmana, and that brahmana who took their father on a pilgrimage. They went to Kashi. Kashi is Varanasi. So Kashi, when they reached Varanasi, there every day thousands of dead bodies are burnt. Because it is said that those who die in Kashi, Lord Shiva will come and chant the name of Lord Ram in their ears, and they will acquire liberation, mukti. So they'll get mukti just by dying in Kashi. So that's why many people want to die in Kashi and give up their body. So he saw thousands of dead bodies and burning, thousands of them, and tears came from his eyes. He started crying, and now the Brahmana thought, oh, now he has understood, uh, that life is short, and um, one has to be spiritual also. Then when they reached the room, the Brahmana asked him, oh, what was the realization today? And then with great heart, grave heart, that businessman said, I didn't knew, I didn't knew that so much wood was required for burning dead bodies. If I knew that, I would have done business in that. So the point is, he was so much business minded that anywhere he looked, everything he looked in terms of business. Even in Kashi, he was thinking of business. When he saw death, also, he was thinking business only. So this is what is inherent psychophysical nature. And we have to direct that psychophysical nature in such a way that it is done in the service of Krishna. Okay. All works onto me. It should be satisfying Vishnu without desire for profit. It should not be done just for the sake of profit. There should be no proprietorship on it, and there should be no laziness in it. So when the psychophysical nature is directed in all these things, then there is perfection. And we need not repress it. There's no need to repress. There is a need to channel it. Like when politicians become sorry, when businessmen become politicians, what do you think they do? Do they do politics or they continue business?
No, no, definitely they work for profit only.
So the thing is, even in politics, right, these businessmen will think about business only, and they won't think in terms of politics or social service or something like that. Okay. um so like that, our nature will force us in every situation. Like we see, so many engineers, they write code and all that, then after some years they start their own company. And if you ask them, are you writing your code? He says, no, I'm hiring people and writing it. So ultimately what that meant, it meant that this person had a psychophysical nature of business, and ultimately he'll do that. Okay. So that's what Krishna is saying to Arjuna. See, you have a nature of warrior. Don't think of begging. This is not possible for you. So don't do that. Hmm? You'll be forced. And if somebody doesn't give you anything while you're begging, you will get angry on him, and then you will fight it over there. Like sometimes we see these aggressive beggars. If you don't give them, they will fight with you. So ultimately, they were not meant for begging. So unless one is situated on transcendental form of platform of Krishna consciousness, we cannot get free from the influence of the modes of material nature. See, modes of material nature will always affect us, as it is confirmed with the Lord in the seventh chapter. So later on in the chapter, Krishna confirms this, 7.14. Therefore, even the most highly educated people on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge. or separating the soul from the body. So by knowledge, it is not possible. Okay. There are so many spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in science, but inwardly or privately they're completely under the three modes of material nature, which is unable to surpass. So sometimes spiritualists they also do scams. They start spiritual organizations for economic purposes, which is completely wrong. And then they try to be renunciates, whereas they are doing scams with opposite sex and so many other things. Every time we get this, and ultimately they'll say, "I'm God, I can do anything." No, that is all bogus. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with the material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties in terms of material existence. So, Krishna consciousness means bhakti, means devotional service. Okay, it has a power to overcome this material entanglement, to overcome this psychophysical nature and these forces of psychophysical nature. It has the power, and it has the power to channelize it in Krishna's service and become perfect. And as we go in Bhagavad Gita further, this one single point is being expanded again and again. So therefore, without being fully Krishna conscious, one should not give up his occupational duties. So there are some people who want to give up their duty. Why? Because they want to become spiritualist. But this is not recommended. You do your duty, and then at a very matured state, you take to 100% spirituality. Okay, abrupt to taking to spirituality 100%, leaving everything is not recommended. It is better you do your duty and simultaneously practice spirituality to the best of your ability. And then slowly, you will develop detachment and you can take to 100% full time spiritual. So this is an important lesson here. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duty and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya. Indriya, sorry, Indriyasya arthe. There are two words, Indriyasya arthe. Raga dvesha vyavastito. Tayorna vasham agachet. तो ही अस्य परिपंथिनो. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to science and the objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks in the path of self-realization. Uh, what does this mean is we are being toggled, or let's say, like a football between two things: attachment, aversion. Uh, let's see if I have, sorry. Um, yeah, by a long time I had shown this uh, PPT. Some like some new product comes, we are very attached to it. We want to buy it, and then when we buy it, we want to show them off. But then after 1 year, another product is bought, and people are having that better product. To get that better product, we take more loans and try to buy it. After that, we may go into depth also buying that, and then after 1 year, another product is launched. So our state is like we put so much money in buying something, and after 1 year we start hating the same thing, right? So this is called attachment, and then aversion. Aversion is like rejection, rejecting the same thing that we liked. And attachment is something we want to like, and we will do great endeavor to achieve it. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, so we are always like a football kicked between these two things: attachment and aversion. And therefore our state is that we are in either we are carried by too much happiness or we are carried by too much distress. So better is to regulate this attachment and aversion. And then we can, if we regulate means, if we control our attachment and aversion. Regulate means that, right? Control. If we control our attachment and aversion, then we'll be in a very happy state. Okay, we'll be in a very equilibrium state. So that is very required. So let's say, I gave this example, buying new devices, electronic devices. So how can we control our attachment and aversion? What are your thoughts? How can we control this attachment and aversion?
We honestly, firstly, we need to accept that the new models will keep on coming every month and every year. So I feel that is one thing, because until and unless we just face it and we don't accept it, we'll always
Hmm.
be, in that unrest uh, state. So
Yeah,
I feel first we need to accept uh, that the phone we have, if there is a utility for us, if it's able to do
yeah,
everything, we don't need
yes,
to update it.
yes. So regulate means we like for these things, for any gadgets or something, we should really question whether we really need it, how much we need it. Do we need the, like we should do all this analysis. So when we just do analysis, then we can regulate things. This is true. And aversion, attachment we discussed. What about aversion? We're getting angry on the same thing that we bought, or we're getting angry on something which is obstructing us from enjoying. How to regulate that?
Then don't you think that has much to do with validation? Like, because we have the latest phone, or we have the latest, we don't, like, throughout that 1 year we have the latest model of the phone. Then we keep, most of the reason is because we get recognized by that, oh, this person has that phone. So don't you think that is uh, validation only, that we get it for validating ourselves from others?
Yes. So the thing is, um, we try to validate it from others, right? Like there is envy, there's jealousness, there are peer pressure and all that, right? One of the thing is to do introspect. Introspection is very important. Is that really for me, or am I using, say our present phone? Am I using this phone to the best of its capability? Is it obstructing me? Is it failing somewhere in its functioning, right? All these questions when we ask, then we can then start controlling our aversion and attachment. Okay. Then you said about others. So others is when we know we talk with others. Like if our association is with good people, wise people, then it starts helping us. Like sometimes, wise people, good friends, they can tell us, hey, you don't need, or they'll tell us you need it, or they can say, what are the pros and cons. They can help us in deciding what are the pros and cons, and then we can take a decision. So so instead of peer pressure, there should be peer help. And then we can control. Okay.
What if I want a phone which was 1 lakh, okay, and I just have a crore rupees extra lying with me? Then we often hear
um,
that at least I have read and heard that,
yeah, yeah, good,
unless,
good, good. So that is another dimension of regulation. So when in spirituality, when we talk about regulation, this is provided by the Vedic knowledge also. Okay, what is regulation? um, in Krishna consciousness, in Vaishnavism, we follow four regulative principles. You must have heard this thing. What is it? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. So these are regulations, and these are strict regulations. You can't break them because there's a complete no over there. Okay. Then there are regulations which are like being being truthful, honest, what modest, like that. And these regulations are like most of the time we have to use, and in some scenarios we may not use this. Okay. So the Vedic knowledge, they give us what which are strict regulations and which are bendable regulations. Now you talked about somebody having, let's say, 1 crore. Now if he has money at his disposal, if he has money at his disposal, how should he use it? That is the question, right? How should he use it? So how does Vedas say, that how to use that? So one of the thing is, there is a chapter called as 16 chapter. 16 chapter, when we reach after many months, um, these are the qualities that one should not have: pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities are demonic qualities. These are evil qualities. They will bring us, they'll put us down. While these are the list of qualities which will bring us up: freedom from anger, truthfulness, compassion, fault finding, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, all that. Okay. Now we talked about money, right? So Krishna talks about the same money. Money minded people, how do they think? They think that there is no God in this control, and everything is produced of sex desire and no other than lust. And he very nicely gives them. This is how a evil person thinks. So much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. And much is mine now, and it will increase in future, much more. And he is my enemy, and I have killed him. And my other enemies will also be killed. I am the lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am the perfect, powerful, happy. I am richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and then I will rejoice. In this way, persons are deluded by ignorance. So somebody who has money at their disposal, huge amount of money at disposal, but if they're thinking this way, making schemes and all that, and thinking I'm powerful, I'll kill other person, and for sure I will do some sacrifices and charity, so that I will get some respect in the society. Then basically one is deluded. He's fooling himself. He's fooling himself. Such a person spiritually won't last. Okay. So specific to your question, if one has 1 crore at disposal and he wants to buy a very expensive phone and all that, just for what did they call it? Treating yourself, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Then what he should do? See, Vedas, they always tell us that okay, let's find out answer. Hmm?
Yeah, I'm asking because don't you think this is a healthy way to approach that? That once in a lifetime, I want to experience, I want to have a good phone, or maybe I can say I want to
I agree.
experience an
I
iPhone.
agree.
Yeah,
I
once in a
agree.
lifetime,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
a good physique, so I want to go to the gym. I want a proper physique. I want to
No, no,
experience it.
we are not talking about physics or something. We are talking about the money at disposal, because that's something gives us a lot of power.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, so the way Bhagavad Gita talks is, hmm, see, in any activity that we may have, or let's say whatever our disposal be, possessions and all that, three things we have to do: sacrifice, charity, and penance. So when we have money on our disposal, we should pull out money for charity also. But what happens is sometimes people they just want to enjoy the whole of the thing. This is mine, full is mine, and they don't do any charity, and then they try to enjoy. What happens is in that enjoyment, it is it is tainted with fruitive activities. There is no detachment also, because this money is mine. This me and mine feeling is there, right? That is not given. So when one does charity, then they become kind of detached from their you know money and whatever property and all. And then when they do good amount of charity, then whatever they try to enjoy according to their level, their lifestyle and all that, they won't be carried away with it. They won't become attached to that lifestyle, and they won't be carried away. Sometimes they can control themselves, just like the kings in the Vedic times, they had so much money and uh, power under them. So we are reading Bhagavad Gita. So there are two kings in Mahabharata: Yudhishthir and Duryodhana. So we all know that Yudhishthir was a very good person. So when money came to him, what he did was he did a sacrifice. Whereas when money came to Duryodhana, what he did, he simply enjoyed. He didn't give to anybody. So the element of charity is very important. Okay. So when we think, okay, I have 1 crore at my disposal, what to do? It should include the thought of charity also, is what I'm trying to say. You can use, say, 1 lakh rupees, buy 1 lakh rupees phone. Okay. After that, 99 lakhs remain. If some part of it you are not thinking about charity, then that same money will destroy us. Will that in sense destroy in sense it will make us more and more miserly. It will make us more and more jealous, and greed, anger and lust will generate in us. So that's the thing. So in whenever you get possessions, properties and all that, now charity is important thing. There are three things now: charity, sacrifice and tapasya. So if a person is doing all that three, then whatever comes in his life, poverty comes or prosperity comes, he will he'll be able to tackle both. So this is how we need to think. Does that help?
Yes, yes, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah. What happens is today people they get carried away. They get carried away with all that property and
Hmm,
money and
hmm,
all that,
hmm.
and then that same money creates problems.
Yes, yes. No, I
Whereas
just wanted to
those,
confirm if
yeah,
Mhm.
tell me.
I wanted to confirm is like if there can be a healthy approach to this, that we don't
Yeah.
abstain ourselves from this, we want to experience it,
So yeah.
but I
So
have the money.
yes. So let's put the balance approach. The balance approach is charity, sacrifice, and tapasya. Okay, charity, sacrifice, tapasya on one balance, right? So it's a balance of the two. It's like what is that? Tula. What that weight comparison machine is there, na?
Yes,
So
yes,
on
yes.
yeah. So on
Tulna
one plate
machine.
we have this, and then on other plate we have enjoyment. See, enjoyment is not denied. It's actually given a word, artha. Sorry, it's given the word kama. So in the Vedic cycle, right? In the Vedic life, what is recommended is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Which in simple terms is dharma means you live your life according to the rules. Artha means you will get some money, property, and kama means you'll enjoy. Again, you will enjoy dharmically. You won't enjoy adharmically. So you enjoy dharmically. And then at the same time think about moksha also. That is liberation. So this is how Vedic lifestyle is. Vedic lifestyle is fine. You have to work legally, and then enjoy also legally. Don't enjoy illegally. Like Ravana. He had one wife, but still he was going after many wives, right? It was not just Sita that he had uh, captured. There were many other women. It was only Sita who said no to her, no to him. So, and Ram, एक धर्म पति एक पत्नी व्रता, right? I'll only marry one wife. And Ravana, I will marry one wife and enjoy many other women. So if one has that kind of mentality, right, then it will be adharmic. So what the answer to your question is, enjoy dharmically. Okay? Earn dharmically, enjoy dharmically. And dharma means rules, regulations, honesty, truthfulness, according to the legal ways. Does that help?
Yes, yes, it's clear now. Yes,
It's clear, right? So
yeah,
yeah.
everything's clear.
So when Vedas talk about dharma, artha, kama, moksha, first thing is they say dharma. Dharma means what is right and what is wrong, and then do everything according to that dharma, and then you can enjoy very happily, right? Like there are many people who pay their taxes nicely. They can enjoy openly also, right? Say this 1 crore came out of illegal deal. Can he enjoy his 1 lakh rupees phone? IT department will come after him,
No,
right?
there's always fear.
Yeah, you are showing income of 5,000 rupees, but 1 lakh rupees phone you have, right? But if he shows that 1 crore rupees as income, and then he shows 1 lakh rupees phone, will the IT department come after him? No, right?
No, no.
Yeah. So that is the thing, that we enjoy, that we earn dharmically and we enjoy dharmically. So enjoyment is not denied, but enjoyment under the rules is allowed, is recommended, so that you can be happy. Otherwise, the same thing will destroy you, just like it did for Ravana and all. So, okay, same thing is being explained here. We will read. And those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratification. But those who are not in such consciousness, one should follow the rules and regulation of the revealed scriptures. So, if you want for some sense gratification, follow the rules and regulations. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is a cause of material entanglement. Don't go unrestricted. But one who follows the rules and regulations of the revealed scripture does not become entangled by sense objects. Like here, the example is good. For example, sex enjoyment is a necessity for conditioned soul. See, man and woman are there, some attraction is there. They can enjoy sexual life, but if they enjoy like an animal on the street, then it is condemnable, right? So for them, there is a institution of marriage where they said that we will be together as one team and we will look after each other in the times of difficulties, in the times of happiness, right? To thick and thin, we will go through. Then, in such a strong environment, even if there is sexual enjoyment, it is not it is not disturbing to the society, right? It is not animalistic. Okay. For example, sex enjoyment is necessity of conditioned soul, and sex enjoyment is allowed under the license of married ties. See, if a woman gets pregnant, two scenarios: she's married and then she's not married. When she's married and she gets pregnant, everyone gets happy, right? Parents are happy, friends are happy, neighbors are
True,
happy.
true.
But the moment she's not married but she got pregnant, how the whole society changes the viewpoint, right? Why? Some contest this thing. Why? But then there is some reason to it. Why? Why do you think?
Because it wasn't under the laws of marriage.
See, there is a point of responsibility also, right? That this was not done responsibly.
Okay,
Okay.
what if I argue? What if I argue that I have been with this woman for many years. Like, everyone knows about us. And how can I say? Okay, for example, maybe I'm living in another city. I'm living away from home, and there I find, and we know that we are eventually going to get married. And and during that, the my partner, she conceives. So, like, I'm giving an argument, like, what if I defend myself by saying this, like, if this is a scenario.
No, I didn't understand the scenario.
um
Whom she got conceived from? That is very important.
from me only, but we have been together from for many years now. We plan to get married. And
Oh, okay. So before marriage,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, but
So
it's
so the
it's
thing
not
is,
it's not
right?
something casual.
Yeah. So the thing is, um, we need to understand that this marriage is done according to the Vedic rituals, where in front of God, when the man and woman is taking the vow that I'll be the husband, I'll be the wife, and I will protect this woman, and I will serve this husband, and we will follow our life dharmically. So our living together will be for dharmic purposes, for progression in in spirituality. Okay, not just for any material life, but for even spiritual life also. So, so in today's world, now this argument is there because people don't understand what is marriage. For them, marriage is a godless thing. But when they understand that actually marriage is ordained by God
Mhm.
and God is involved in it, right? Then they can understand the sanctity of it, and they can appreciate it. Okay.
Mhm.
So in such case, where one gets conceived before marriage or something, then marriage is recommended. Get the boy and the girl together, marry them, but don't be in an unmarried state and then have children,
Mhm. Point.
because it is not like animal life, right? It should not be animal life. It should be dharmic life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that is the answer to that argument. That considered to be dharmic activity. Actually, this sex enjoyment is also to be done dharmically. Okay. So okay. Hmm. See, there are four activities that we do: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Now we have to do all of this activity dharmically, not sharmically, dharmically. Sorry, dharmically. Dharmically
What is
means
defending?
eating, sleeping. I'll explain.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, religious. Let's put legal, truthful. See, dharmic means many things. Okay, dharmic means religious, legal, truthful, spiritual, and many things more. But this much compromises. Uh, let's put rightful activity. Hmm? So how to do eating dharmically? How to do eating dharmically? How to be eating which is legal, which is truthful, which is spiritual, which is rightful activity, which is religious.
I guess the first would be obviously, like, eating vegetarian food.
And according to Bhagavad Gita, we have not come to that verse, but Krishna says, Patram Pushma Phalam Tava Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati. Vegetarian food prasada, food that is offered to God. It is free
Yeah, yeah.
from it is free from sin,
Sin.
and it is nourishing to body, mind, and soul. So this is how we dharmically eat. Now, how do we dharmically sleep? See, these four activities are common to animals and human being. Now we have to ask this question: how we can dharmically eat, sleep, mate, and defend? How to dharmically sleep? How much is required? 6 to 8 hours. That's it. And that also
Yeah.
in the night time. Sometimes people sleep in the daytime, that is the night time. And that was in the right night time, okay? Like 8:30 and afterwards, okay? Anything later than like 10 or something is not the right time, okay? So 6 to 8 hours, okay? Now mating,
But then again, like
sex
this is
life.
not sleeping on time. It's not possible, you know. Like for people who are working in today's
So,
world,
so
I'm
the thing
asking.
is, what is happening is people who are not sleeping on time have problems over the years, and
True,
then
true. I
they
agree.
force
I agree. I
themselves to
agree.
sleep on time.
But then, do you think
Okay,
for if I take myself as an example, if I start working in my early stage of career, I can't deny working overtime because I
I
can't give an
agree.
extra
I
time.
understand your question, but the thing is, um,
Hmm.
this
No,
should
because
not be a daily activity.
yeah,
The
I'm asking because
daily, if the sleep is disturbed, right, then it will end up in, some medical issues. This is what is found. Okay, so once a while it is fine. Once a while it is fine. Like when
yeah,
it is
no,
project
because
deadlines and all that, then definitely we have to work hard and all that. Sometimes sleep
yes,
is,
yes,
but it should not be a daily activity. 365 days. Are you having project deadlines 365 days? That is the question. If you're having that, then that particular job is not good to have. Unfortunately,
yes,
today's
yes.
jobs are also like that.
Exactly. I asked because I
Yeah,
wish to, I wish to sleep early by 10 o'clock. I mean, that
yeah,
is something I dream of because I've never been able to do that. And I know that is something, which will change my life if I start sleeping
yeah. So
on
what?
time,
Yes. So
eating on
what
time.
we should do is, 15 minutes before our present time, we should start sleeping, and then over a period of like 6 months, we will come to that time that we want. Okay, it will be a struggle, but 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. is manageable. Yeah. So the thing is, dharmically sleeping is also in the right time for 6 to 8 hours, and sometimes some issues will be there. That is agreed, but it should not be every time. Okay. But the main point I want to discuss is the meeting part, sex life,
Hmm.
because that was your question, and we can discuss now. What is
Yeah.
dharmically sex life? What is dharmically sex life?
As you said earlier, under the laws of marriage and not it should not be.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is within marriage.
yeah, we did it with compared it with animals.
Yeah, within marriage, it's Vedic or religious setting. The technical word is called Garbha Dan Samskar. This is the technical word which is called. What it means is sex life is done for a purpose to have child, not to just have child, but to have child with spiritual and um, moral propensity. Now, this is a very important thing to understand. What happens is at the time of sex, whatever is the mentality of the man and the woman, the husband and the wife, the father and the mother, that particular mentality then attracts the soul with that particular karma. Okay. So sex, or let's put like that, mentality of father and mother attract a particular soul with that mentality and karma. Okay. This is how the karma works. That when sex life is done, the soul comes into that body through the semen, goes into the egg, and then emulsify, and the baby is formed. But the soul has subtle body in it. It has karma in it. How does that particular karma only comes? Because of the mentality of the father and mother. So if the mentality of father and mother is not dharmic, it is not religious, truthful, spiritual, rightful, then the child that will come out of it is also will be similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why Garbhadan Sanskar is recommended, where one spiritually prepares before having sex. That's it. So in Garbhadan Sanskar, what happens is the man and woman, they eat the right food, they have sex at the right time, that is in the night, and then they prepare that mentality spiritually by chanting holy name of Krishna. And with that attitude, then they have sex life. Then the child that comes has proper proper consciousness. In this regard, we have heard about the story of Prahlad, right? So Prahlad was a devotee, but his father was Hiranyakashipu. He was a demoniac king, right? Have you heard this story?
Yes, but I
Yeah.
have. I don't remember
But he was
it
a demoniac and evil.
vividly.
Evil father. Now, how come an evil father got a devotee child? The reason for that was once he was doing tapasya, and after doing tapasya, he was always thinking of, how can I defeat Narayan? How can I defeat Narayan? And then he came home, and then he saw his wife. In the night, they had sex life. And while doing sex, he was thinking about Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And therefore, he was chanting the holy name of Narayan. He got a devotee child. Instead of getting a demonic child, he got a devotee child. Why? Because he was chanting the holy name of Ramayana or Narayan. So this chanting of the holy name of Krishna is called devotional service. In other words, Krishna
But
consciousness and bhakti.
can we say that
Yeah,
he kept repeating the name Narayan with a bad intention, right? His intention was not
yeah,
to
yes,
prepare himself for the sexual
right,
activity.
right. So the thing is, this is the power of bhakti. The power of bhakti, the power of chanting the holy name, even unintentionally, can produce great result. So this is the power of chanting the holy name. That it is not dependent on any material, you know, calculation. See, material calculation is what was the intent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But uh, the spiritual activity of chanting the holy name of Krishna, it doesn't even look at the intent. It only looks at the activity. Okay, so in this regard, we have Valmiki Rishi. He was previously a dacoit, Ratnakar, and he would kill people. When he met Narad Muni, he understood what he was doing bad. So to get rid of it, Narad Muni said him to chant the name of Ram. But he was always after killing, so he started with Mara. And after a long time chanting this Mara, this Maram Ram Ram become Mara becomes Ram. And then he started chanting the holy name of Krishna, Ram, purely that he became a sage. So that is the power of chanting. That even if it is done unintentionally, it can produce a great result. See, that's why this bhakti is very, very stronger. Now we are talking about psychophysical nature and all that, right? So even a demoniac who
Mm-hmm.
may be psychophysically very evil, but if he chants the holy name of Krishna and performs devotional service, then he can transcend and he can achieve perfection, just like Prahlad. There are many stories like Vritrasur and all that. They will give up their demonic activity. They will give up the demonic. So that's the power of chanting. Okay. So the spiritual activity of power of chanting the holy name has this effect. that even done unintentionally, it will produce a result. So therefore, when we talk about bhakti, we start doing things dharmically automatically. We don't have to separately endeavor. Okay, so this is something that will keep coming up in our further reading of Bhagavad Gita, but good that you asked. So when we talk about Krishna consciousness, devotional service, bhakti, it starts with this chanting of the holy name, and it is beyond this rules and regulations. Indeed, it has a power that it will bring us into right dharmic life. Okay, so when we come to know about this knowledge, then we can act rightly, right? Then whatever mating that we have to do, we'll do it in the proper way.
Okay.
Why to do it the animal way? And therefore, there's a verse in Mahabharata which says, Ahara nidra bhaya maithune vacha samanetat pashubir naram dharmo hi tesam adhiko visheshu dharmene hina pashubi samana. Without dharma, you will be equal to animal in these four activities: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. If you do it dharmically, then you actually become human. And similarly, defending should be done dharmically. Defending one's dharma, protecting body to use in Krishna consciousness. These are the activities. Okay. So yeah, this is a very important question you asked. We will continue from we will continue from the same verse 3.34 next time.
3 point.
3.34.
Yes.
So yeah. So we just went a little bit overboard. Any last
Yeah,
comment or thought?
no, nothing. I had
Any
a lot
question?
of doubts cleared today.
Okay,
So
okay, good.
yeah, all the
Okay,
doubts I cleared it like throughout the session.
okay, good.
Yes, because I had that I had the doubt to if we can enjoy it in a healthy way, if we can enjoy material things in
Yeah.
a healthy way. So and all
Yes.
like I used to read contradicting articles or videos, watch about it. So
Sure,
something is
sure.
saying somewhere else. So but deep down I wouldn't deny because there's some things even I want to enjoy in life when I earn that much
Yeah,
amount
we
of
have to
money.
enjoy. It
So
is not like we don't. And devotees also enjoy, right? Devotees
true,
also
true.
do sex life.
Yes, yes, yes,
Huh. Um, there is
yes,
one
yes.
verse which Krishna says later, but I'll point it to you. You can take this verse. Huh.
39.
Um, Yukta. Oh, sorry. I'm Yukta. The word is Yukta. Yukta aharasya viharasya. Yukta. This particular
Let's
word
see.
is very important. Yukta
Do it
means
till.
tote. Yeah. So there's a particular verse which Krishna says, and I'm looking for that. That is the verse which comes in the later chapters. This one. Yukta viharasya, yukta chetasa karmasu, yukta sapnavasa yoga bhavati dukta. One who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains. So it is 17.
17.
Yeah, 17 of which chapter? I think sixth chapter, but sixth chapter, 6.17. Let me share that. So when we come to sixth chapter, the same point is there. I'll just put it in the chat. Uh, you can open this chat. So this particular link, and you can read, this particular purport.
Mm-hmm.
We can see, that Krishna is not denying us ahara nidra vihara recreation. See, he's using the word recreation, but what he's saying is he's saying do it regulated, do it dharmically. It should not be done unrestrictedly. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
So what happens is today's world, right? They are not thinking. Today's writers, right? The so-called help people and so many people now, they are not thinking dharmically. But when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, na, they all think about dharmically, meaning what is legally. And when they talk about legality, they only talk about the Indian government. Whereas we are talking about government which is universal government. There is
Universal.
karma, there is demigods and all that, right? So
Yes, yes, yes.
all that comes into picture. It is not like something, we are living in this Indian government and then everything will be taken care. No, the karma will act. Like those people whom Indian government cannot catch, they committed some crime, murder or
Hmm, 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 hmm.
corruption and all that. The Indian government couldn't catch them. Okay, there are many examples where everyone knows that, but the karma will come. Okay, the law of karma will
True,
act.
true.
Yes, the law of karma will act, and we will see.
Yes,
Sometimes
yes.
it
Now
acts
I get
within
it.
this lifetime, and sometimes it acts in the next lifetime. So that's what you know. Okay, okay.
Yes,
So
yes, I get it.
so yeah. Thank you very much. This is a point that will keep coming, but thank you and
Thank you.
stop.
Thank you.
Hmm? Let's stop today, and we'll meet
Yes,
next week
yes.
and continue with 3.34.